Shabbat Shalom. Thank you again for tuning in to spend Shabbat with us, with Christopher Prestia, our organist and musical director, and me, your Rabbi, Peter Kessler. Just as a reminder, as we continue through this crisis, I am here for you. So send me an email if you need me, rabbi@ohevshalom.org, or call my cell phone, 717-460-6444. And we all need a cleansing breath, so let's do that right now. And let's begin with welcoming Shabbat by singing Ma Tovu on page 290. Please join with me as we light our Shabbat candles on page 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Page 126. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. A Psalm of David, page 136. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings, ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders, Adonai, over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Sirion like a young wild ox. Baruch Hu is on page 146. Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, u'vitfuna meshane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'misader et ha'kochavim, b'mishmarotehem barakia kirtsono. Borei yom v'layla, gorer or mipenei choshech, v'choshech mipenei or, u'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo. Elochai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema is page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta, page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta bam be'shiftecha be'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shachbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot beinenecha u'ktabtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. V'chamocha, page 158. Continue on page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru, page 162. Page 171. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And let's turn to page 175, and please pray along with me. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance, and let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. We praise you, Adonai, our God. You are with us always. We continue now with Shalom Rav, page 178. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. Bechol ed ubechol sha'ah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav, al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Let's pause now for a moment of silent reflection. Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion, Shoftim, begins with the following words. You shall appoint magistrates and officials for your tribes in all the settlements that the Lord your God is giving you, and they shall govern the people with due justice. You shall not judge unfairly. You shall not take bribes, for bribes blind the eyes of the discerning and upset the pleas of the just. Justice shall you pursue, that you may thrive and occupy the land that the Lord your God is giving you. So what does it mean to pursue justice? Why does the Torah tell us twice, justice shall you pursue? Because the world is unjust, and it is our responsibility to pursue justice in all its forms for all the people in our community. Some of us may find this to be a tall task to accomplish. Others may pursue justice as if it were an inherent quality that we all possess. In reality, we have the capability and the responsibility to pursue justice, but some of us may lack the courage to speak up for the disadvantaged. Courage is an essential part of pursuing justice. It is so much easier to ignore the problems we face, especially today when we are filled with anxiety about so many aspects of our very existence. Do we have the strength to fight for the rights of others? To demand justice for those whose skin may be darker than our own? Do we have the strength to say no when those in power go too far and those with the capacity to help are absent from our lives? Certainly we all have the strength to fight injustice, but do we have the courage to actually speak up when others are silent? There are people who are standing every day in front of our state capitol with signs that say, Black Lives Matter, and members of our congregation often join them. Jewish people of white privilege who recognize that many others can never achieve the kind of peace, serenity, and safety that we enjoy simply because of the color of our skin. They stand in solidarity and they pursue justice. Last week, a vigil was held in front of our local Orthodox synagogue, Kesher, Israel, to show solidarity with them after 2 swastikas were painted beside their front doors. A crowd formed, masked for the protection of others, and comprised of every age, religion, race, color of skin, gender, and sexual orientation, simply to say no when someone crosses the line and brings hate into our neighborhood. Not only the Jewish people from our neighborhood, but Jewish people from other neighborhoods as well, and our neighbors who aren't Jewish at all. They came to pursue justice, and justice they pursued. There's a story of a rabbi in a Midwestern congregation who asked his confirmation class many years ago what they thought the command, tzedek tzedek tirdov, justice shall you pursue, meant to them. One student answered with the simplest of explanations, and a meaningful one as well. He said, I guess it means if you're Jewish and you see something wrong going on, you're not allowed to look the other way. That is what we are commanded this Shabbat. If we see something wrong, we are not allowed to look the other way. May the one whose spirit is with us in every righteous deed be with all who work for the good of humanity and bear the burdens of others, and give bread to the hungry, who clothe the naked and take the friendless into their homes. May the work of their hands endure, and may the seeds they sow bring abundant harvest. And we say, Amen. And now we ask God for strength and healing for those in our community who are sick and in need of healing, those who are suffering from disease, those who are suffering from the virus that is afflicting so many people, those of us who are suffering from anxiety and worry, those of us who just feel off and who need to hear the words of the Mishaberach in order to begin to feel whole again. The Mishaberach is on page 371. We say together, Baruch Atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, Adonai, who heals the sick. And we all say, Amen. Let's continue now with Aleinu on page 586. Those who died at this season in years past, and those of every race and nation whose lives we are taken into our own. This Shabbat we recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad nivrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. V'galo b'zman pariv v'yimaru amen, yehesh shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'mei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei kudsho barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma v'yimaru amen. Yehesh shalom Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'akol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'akol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all of us who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say, Amen. Our closing hymn is Adon Olam, and it's found on page 625. Now we ask God's blessings on all of us this Shabbat. Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of our mothers and fathers, grant us a Shabbat filled with joy and rest. Bless us with a week ahead filled with peace and good health. Watch over all of us as we tread lightly through these difficult times. May each one of us find your eternal spirit in our souls, and may you guide us